Madam Clerk, the time is now 7 p.m.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's now 7 p.m. I'd like to call this regular Township Council meeting to order. Roll call. Councilwoman Perone,
Present.
Councilman Anderson, Councilwoman McIntosh will be absent this evening. Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy,
Present.
Mayor Whitfield.
Present.
Thank you. For our prayer this evening, we are going to have our very own Mr. Gary Lowry III.
Let us look to the Lord. Father God in heaven, we thank you, O Lord, for allowing us to assemble one more time in the spirit of unity. God, we ask that you touch this body. Let them, as they assemble, continue to do the work of the people, continue to do your work. God, we ask that you bless each and every person in this space right now, and bless the folks that are online, and bless the folks that live and play in Willingboro. God, we ask that you cover this town right now. We pray for your grace and your mercy. In Jesus' precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Larry.
Please rise for the flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Compliance statement. Notice was provided in compliance with Chapter 231 of Public Laws of 1975 to the Burlington County Times, Trenton Times, and the Philadelphia Inquirer, stating the date, time, place, and the agenda to the extent it was known. Additionally, notice was filed in the office of the Township Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another wonderful council meeting. This month, we do have one proclamation for Mental Health Awareness Month, and that will be read by Councilman Nathaniel Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Why y'all act like I'm gonna say something funny? I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna read the proclamation. All right. Proclamation recognizing May as Mental Health Awareness Month. Whereas mental health is an essential component of overall health and well-being and affects how individuals think, feel, act, handle stress, relate to others, and make choices. And whereas 1 in 5 adults in the United States experience a mental health condition in any given year, and millions of children also face the challenges of living with mental health conditions that often go undiagnosed or untreated. And whereas stigma and misunderstanding surrounding mental health conditions persist, preventing many people from seeking help and support, and leading to unnecessary suffering and isolation. And whereas Mental Health Awareness Month provides an opportunity to raise awareness, reduce stigma, promote understanding, and encourage early intervention and access to mental health services. And whereas through education, outreach, and open dialogue, we can foster compassion, create supportive environments, and promote a culture where mental health is recognized as equally important as physical health. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed, I, Samantha E. Whitfield, Mayor of the Willingboro Township, and on behalf of the Council and the citizens of Willingboro Township, do hereby proclaim the month of May as Mental Health Awareness Month in the Township of Willingboro, and I encourage all residents to take time to learn about mental health, support those who are struggling, practice kindness and empathy, and advocate for improved mental health resources and services for all. Let us work together to build a community where everyone feels seen, supported, and empowered to seek help when needed. Signed, Samantha E. Whitfield, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Anderson. And next we have our Youth in Government presentation. So today was Youth in Government Day in Willingboro. This year we decided to take on the initiative a little differently. Previously, we had our students from Willingboro High School come to the municipal building and sit with the departments, take a tour, and learn how we do the work that we do here in Willingboro. Then they would come back in the evening and do a mock council meeting where they would pass a sample resolution. This year, we took on the challenge a little differently. Instead of youth acting as government, we actually included youth in government. We explored a number of different topics and had students from the high school come and share their thoughts, ideas, solutions, and challenges that may be presented as we move forward in Willingboro. And at this time, I'll turn it over to Dr. Worthy to speak a little more.
Sure. So we had about 20 youth join us from Willingboro High School. Some are here this evening, and I'll ask them to come up in just a moment. The topics that we explored today were sustainability, master plan and economic development, the library location, public safety and community engagement, and We Are One Willingboro. And we had different township administration employees represented there. Mr. Harris, Mr. Lowry were there. We had a partner from TCNJ come out, Eliza Messenger, Miss Michaela Sims. From communications, we had Brianna Colantani. And from public safety, we had Detective Norris and Detective Hart. I was there, the mayor was there, and the clerk's office set everything up, which was really nice. So at this time, I would like to call up the students who participated just to share some of the things that you discussed today and some of your ideas that you brought forth during Youth in Government. So you can come up to the microphone. If you would share your name and your grade. Don't be shy. They weren't shy earlier. Don't be shy now.
Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Daniel Simmons. I'm a senior at Willingboro High School. I will be attending Dell State in the fall for accounting. And today was nothing but insight and information thrown at us. However, we tackled it very well. I was a part of the master plan and the public safety groups to briefly dive into the more so pitches that we had when it came to the master plan. Our main focus and theme pinpoints were not only accessibility, but also just the transportation to go with accessibility. The main problem is that we feel like everything in Willingboro is more so hard to obtain if you don't have a car, you don't have a license, someone driving you around. It's very hard to get around to these places. We propose that if we can somehow bring some of these stores more so locally, whether that's us, I don't know, opening new places with land that hasn't been renovated, providing more students or even people with transportation, whether that's with bikes or more so putting emphasis on the shuttles, that could be a great change in order to stimulate more growth here, as opposed to going into other towns and counties to more so shop for these things. And we also thought that when it came to the promotion of these places locally, one of the great questions that the mayor brought up was, how do we bring more people into Willingboro to spend money here as opposed to going to these other places? And with promotion, although everyone does a great job with social media, promoting them on Facebook, the app, whether the case may be, we feel as if there were maybe some more type of promotion tactics, whether that's with more mail or newspapers, people who don't necessarily access social media, we can get that out more, maybe signs in front of the establishments, or just more so publicizing everything that we have going on. And with public safety, it was a good discussion. It was pretty brief. We just thought that if we want to have our community more safer and involved with the, obviously with the police force, we should just integrate them slowly by having them just be there, present themselves as something that's welcoming, friendly. And although that may be hard at first, because obviously people have skewered narratives on the police force, we can push to change that, bring everyone together. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Daniel.
Good afternoon. My name is Layla. I'm a senior at Willingboro High School attending, I'm a senior at Willingboro High School attending Villanova University for Environmental Engineering and Humanitarian Sciences in the fall. One of the workshops we had at the Youth in Government program today was sustainability. That one really stood out to me as I'm an environmental engineering major. Basically in this workshop, we were discussing like the different strategies they were coming up with to make Willingboro more clean and overall sustainable to promote a better environment in our future and for our future generations. One of the main points that stood out to me was us working towards removing our carbon footprint. Like there were a lot of energy principles underneath the strategies that she had presented to us. Basically just like working to reduce our carbon footprint by providing more public transportation, using like electric vehicles, including more solar panels within like our environments, trying to encourage people to use like these batteries that can like fuel more than one, like a big battery that basically like fuels multiple houses, and overall just like different methods we could use to decrease our carbon footprint.
Very nice. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kamani Hansen. I'm a senior at Willingboro High School, and I will be attending Stockton for bioengineering. Whoa, for molecular biology in the fall. In our workshop, we talked about how we can connect the community and bring people to Willingboro to want to stay here. We talked about using the vacant spaces that we have, the vacant buildings, and repurposing them as recreational spaces that bring people that want to make people stay and participate in community. We talked about having rec centers that could encourage the youth to come and connect more and be more involved. We talked about expanding on like sports, have something that brings people to Willingboro that makes them want to stay here and be here to attend. We talked a lot about how we can utilize the space that we have, bring in retail stores that make people spend their money here so we can invest in the small businesses and bring that community together. And yeah.
Thank you so much. So as you can see, just by the few representatives that we had tonight, that the future of Willingboro is bright. I hope that all of our students will go off to college and or trades and do whatever their heart desires, but definitely consider bringing your talents back home to Willingboro and supporting this community. We need your young, brilliant minds, and it was so refreshing to have you in session today. So thank you so much for all of your thoughts, your ideas, your criticisms, and real critical and creative thinking as we approach some of the topics that we're tackling here in the township. Do you have anything else, Dr. Worthy?
I echo the mayor's sentiments, and I did want to share more specifically one of the solutions that the youth came up with. And it's really in response to communication in the community. The session was One Willingboro. And I thought it was wonderful to hear the students talk about how they could leverage their broadcasting, media, and film study class. And they could use a junior and a senior to be Willingboro influencers. We recognized, and they recognized, we have Facebook pages, we have Instagram, we don't have TikTok, but we do have social media, but it's no one really pushing the pages forward, and how they could use a junior and a senior from that class to be the influencers of Willingboro, all things Willingboro, not just the school, not just the township. And they said they wanted to see that as part of the curriculum in the class, so that when they're creating all their marketing materials, they're practicing interviews, they're going around the school, instead of just going around the school, they could go around the entire community and work with the administration, the water authority, and with the school district to really promote the things happening in Willingboro, and then the students would own it. And they said then it could get to their Google Classroom, which is where it is for them to see it. Then it can get to parents as well as the community at large. And that's just one example of the many solutions that the students came up with. And then they said, and we need an incentive to do this, so we would like the senior to receive a scholarship in some amount at the end of that school year, recognizing their work for promoting and being the influencer for Willingboro. So that's just one example of many. And the students, I agree with the mayor, we are in wonderful hands. Our students have wonderful ideas. They're insightful. We just need to find more ways to include them in the conversations that we're having as we're trying to develop the Willingboro that they're going to raise their families and their grandchildren in. That's the Willingboro we're creating. And so it was wonderful and it was very refreshing. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Dr. Worthy. And thank you again to the students that participated. We look forward to you continuing to stay involved and be more involved in all of the discussions that we have. We do have the Youth Advisory Committee, so I would encourage you to apply for that. And also, don't forget to apply to the mayor's scholarship that is live on our website. And we've only had a few applicants, so your chances are good. All right, we will move right on into our manager's municipal updates. This is the point in the meeting where our township manager will go through all of the work that has been going on over the past 2 weeks or the past month and provide updates from the different departments. Mr. Harris?
Good evening, Mayor and council members, members of the public. We're going to begin our report this evening with an update from our engineer, Mr. Russell Shapola, who's going to give you a synopsis of the different projects that are ongoing here in Willingboro.
Thank you, Mr. Harris.
Good evening, Mr. Shapola.
Good evening, Mayor. No Deputy Mayor left. Good evening, members of council and solicitor. Thank you for having me this evening. Excuse me. Just attacked me. I was impressed by the speeches that they made, by the way. It's a tough act to follow, but I'll try. Thank you for having me this evening. I'd like to start out with the concrete repairs that have been completed by the Think Pavers Construction Company, except for 2 bridges that we have, Pennypacker Drive and Van Sciver Parkway. But there are some change orders that are a change order that is expected due to incorrect sidewalk quantities that were found at the JFK, John F. Kennedy Way and Veterans sidewalks. And also there are anticipated deteriorated bridge conditions that are probably going to make us have a change order for those since it's been 3 or 4 years since the bridges were looked at. For the Performing Arts Center, I spoke today with Jim Mullen. He's the project engineer for Pannoni Associates, who's managing the job. We are still waiting on 2 change orders, and it's been waiting for a while now for additional fire protection and electrical work. Today, I sent an email, somewhat terse, but accommodating to Levy Construction to try to get them to move on this and move off dead center. And he replied that they're waiting on their subcontractors for pricing. So I'm trying to get that squared away because we are running out of time to get this work done. I confirm that the seating is coming in on or about June 12th, which is a little different, Mr. Harrison, what you said, but Jim Mullen said it was June 12th. He said the painting in the theater is complete, and also all the painting in the stage areas, the painting in the theater and the stage areas will be completed next week. I apologize for that. Our original fire protection and electrical work, though, is complete. And we did receive a letter that we requested from Pannoni, which will justify us going over the maximum 20% of the contract value in order to have our change orders approved. So we should be in good shape with that. Mr. Mullins said that phase 2 drawings are almost complete, and he'll submit them to us and council for review. And he also mentioned, and I'm not aware of this or privy to this, but he mentioned that Mr. Bobby Duckett may be requesting a project status meeting next week. So I'd like to attend that if that comes to fruition. Hate to say, but we're still waiting on quotes for the raised walkway for pedestrian crossing out here in front of the municipal complex on MLK Drive. And we're also waiting for a price for the concrete logo pad replacement. At this time, the contractor, Think Pavers, has been non-responsive. So our contact at Pannoni is trying to get other contractors to maybe give us some quotes on this. We received a single proposal from T&M Associates for a watershed improvement plan. That's part of our MS4 stormwater permits. I'm waiting on further approval and go ahead for that. It is a significant amount of money. It's $64,000. So I will be telling TNN that it is going to be on hold until further notice. For the Phase 3 iBank application, we have 23 roads, but we have put that on hold pending review of the total bond amount to be placed through an ordinance. Our current estimated total for the roads, including all contingencies, design, construction, and other fees imposed by iBank, it's about $4.4 million. It was originally higher than that, but it was 7.4, but we reduced it down. And I'm trying to verify with PSE&G that their roads that they're currently working on are the same roads that we're going to be, that they're not going to be doing those roads as part of their work next year. So I want to make that clear. The Pannoni company has been or will be awarded tonight a contract for the application through NJDOT municipal aid for 5 roads. And they are East Lane, East Gate, Tallwood, Marigold Lane, and Rose Street. And just want to make sure you understand this is just for the application, not for design or anything. I applied a few weeks ago to the New Jersey Water Bank for an iBank loan to help alleviate the stormwater issues in the Babbitt and Balford Lanes area. This week, I sent out RFPs for what's called a project report. This is the first phase of this application process, and there's many phases from what I can see. We sent out the RFPs to Pannoni Engineers, CME and Associates, T&M Engineers, and Remington and Vernick Engineers. Regarding the Senior Center Library Edition, we are currently in the process of requesting from Alimo and Associates their review of their price that they proposed for the Phase 2 corridor area. We felt that it was high for the amount of work that was included in the scope. So we will be working with them, and they seemed very cooperative in getting, looking at their numbers and sharpening their pencils on that. And that in the same vein, Phase 1, the original contract is continuing. I'm in the process of getting quotes for the asbestos and lead investigations for this additional area in the corridor for Phase 2. And correct me, Mr. Harris, it's from IT to the Senior Center, is it? About 150 feet of corridor that we're going to be getting additional work done for. And I've also confirmed that Ms. Foster has the drawings for the original phase Senior Center and Library relocations, and she's supposed to submit her comments to the drawings. In order to alleviate speeding throughout the township, I had met with Chief Bucks, I guess, a couple weeks ago now, and he gave me a list of streets that he thinks we should investigate, and the number 1 priority street he feels is Evergreen Avenue near the school, and other streets in no particular order are Tyler, Millbrook, and Rockland. Based on this, I've been investigating various traffic calming products such as speed humps, not to be confused with a speed bump. It's a gentle, more gradual speed deterrent. So I've got one price so far from one company, Traffic Logics, and that's for $5,500 per speed hump. So we would need 4 if we did it at that location, 2 approaching on each direction. I'm also looking at pavement management systems, since the current one that we have with Pannoni will be expiring at the end of this year. I was involved in 4 virtual presentations last week by 3 firms, StreetLogic, Valsaya, and Violytics. And this will help us maintain a better understanding of the conditions of our roads in order for us to assess how much money we want to spend each year to keep everything in in good working condition. And also, there was a presentation I was involved with for sidewalk management, which pretty much does the same thing. They take photographs, just like a roadway, go around and take photographs of all the sidewalks, come out with all the problems, the tripping hazards, cracks, and anything like that. So we can, again, better prepare a budget for our repairs. For the fitness court, I have a meeting planned, a virtual meeting planned tomorrow with Mr. Holt and the owner of Diamond Construction, John Kovacs, and we will be discussing the additional concrete quantities that we're currently a dispute on between what was advertised and what was actually installed. So hopefully we'll get that settled tomorrow. We will be awarding this evening a contract to Level Up Construction, who will be doing the equipment installations at the fitness court. So looking forward to getting that done also. I expect to have a kickoff meeting very soon with CME and Earl Construction for the Buckingham Drive rehabilitation. And CME is also doing the construction management for that project. Last week, I had a kickoff meeting with T&M Associates engineers for the Edge Lane project improvements, and that would be through our NJDOT municipal aid funding. I'm currently waiting on PSE&G to finish their work and all the streets that they're doing around mostly the north and west part of the township, so we can start the contract we currently have with Earl Construction to do 13 roads, and that would be part of the Phase 2 iBank roads loan. As far as the Kennedy Center, I requested that a LIMO engineer, Lionel Galliput, put together basically a pros and cons letter for concepts 3 and 4, and that would be basically to compare a Class 5 US ATF facility to a non-USAT facility for the multi-purpose field and track only. This would be to give us some idea if we want to use it for future revenue generation, competition between other schools and area fields, and kind of balance that with what the total expenditure costs would be. Mill Creek Park, we were notified a couple of months ago that we had historical pesticides potential on that site. So we have a contract with R&V to do field sampling and testing. And I spoke with Doug Johnson today. He said the field sampling is complete and they're just waiting on the test results to get us a full report on that. So hopefully we don't have to deal with any of that historical pesticides. R&V was also awarded the municipal stormwater management plan upgrade contract, and he said today that they have not started on that contract. I found out a couple of weeks ago that the Veterans Parkway Bridge is getting closer to being replaced by the county. They said it is plans are currently under review for NJDEP permitting, and I told the county the person from R&V who was handling that project to keep me in the loop, because it's a major road through the township. So we want to know everything we need to know about traffic control and detours, things like that. And that is all I have.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Any questions from council?
Be glad to answer.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Chipola,
everybody.
for your report.
Peace. Have a good night.
And as you can see, there was a lot of work going on in Willingboro. So from our finance department, the finance department reported total revenue collections at $2,703,000 through April 30th, with $2,435,000 being derived from property tax. Despite these solid revenue figures, April's expenditures totaled $4,149,000. Which includes 1.6 million salary and wages, 433,000 in health insurance costs, and over 1.2 million paid toward principal and interest obligations. and a routine disbursement of $3.28 million was also made to the Willingboro Board of Education. And while our operations remain fiscally sound, we are going to continue to monitor the gap between our revenues and expenditures to make sure that we are fully financially secure. In our police department, April was a month of meaningful advancement for the Willingboro Police Department. Officer Jackson made department history as its first LGBTQIA+ liaison, receiving specialized training in California. Our community engagement remained very strong, with officers participating in the LEAD-led conference and preparing for the Youth Police Academy class number 15, and supporting events like Take Back Day, active shooter seminars with churches, and library collaborations. Our Officers Young and Officer Haynes received accolades at the Pro Cops Awards, and these detectives will be honored for their FBI joint investigation efforts. Officer development also continues through leadership programs and West Point command training. Some statistics for the police department for the period: 3,829 calls for service. They completed 573 motor vehicle stops. They issued 375 summonses. They made 102 arrests for all types. They investigated 72 motor vehicle accidents and did 26 school details, and participated in 17 community policing events. The traffic unit continues its presence on major thoroughfares and school zones, using data to inform patrol deployment and traffic enforcement strategies. The fire department responded to several significant in-town incidents, including structure fires and a motor vehicle accident involving a building at Hazelwood Circle. Mutual aid was also provided for 4 neighboring municipalities. The Citizens Fire Academy launched successfully with 11 residents enrolled, and registration began for the upcoming Youth Fire Academy. Training and public safety efforts were robust, including smoke detector installations with the Red Cross and outreach at Alpha Baptist Church's health fair. Some notable in-town events: on April 4th, there was a residential fire at 2 Northgate. The primary bedroom was fully involved. Also in April, there was an exterior fire at 2 Hazelwood Circle. And then on April 29th, there was a major motor vehicle crash into the same Hazelwood residence. So that resident had a double whammy in a very short period of time. They responded to 5 mutual aid responses for this period: 2 in Burlington Township, Delran, Edgewater Park, and Cinnaminson, providing fire suppression and rescue support in those municipalities. Some statistics for fire and EMS. Fire department responded to 104 events. Total EMS calls were 729. The EMS revenues collected this month were $73,420. They installed 41 smoke CO detectors, and they also participated in 8 public events. The department also partnered with the American Red Cross for a fire safety campaign in Rittenhouse Park. I guess that's going to happen, or happen on the 17th, furthering our commitment to resident protection. And one of our engines, number 1612, is currently out of service due to a front axle tie rod being broken, and we are waiting for quotes for that repair. In our Department of Public Works, they completed some deep cleaning operations at the JFK Senior Center and addressed lighting and roof repairs at key municipal facilities. Preparations began for an in-house pesticide program, with initial employees scheduled for core training in May. The department submitted its annual MS4 stormwater report and received praise in its GIF control loss survey for strong safety management practices. Routine operations continue across stormwater basin maintenance, trash collection, recycling support, and signage repair. Street sweeping was temporarily paused due to a mechanical issue, but is expected to resume shortly. And some statistics for Public Works: they collected 217 bags of trash. emptied 32 gallon trash cans and 63 55-gallon trash cans around the municipality. Delivered 11 recycling carts, and did a number of other things like remove deceased animals and things like that. They did collect 15 cubic yards of debris from the street sweeping activities that did occur, and they removed 134.5 tons of tree debris, which equated to about 23 loads, as well as inspected 649 stormwater basins, of which 404 were clean. Our DPW submitted an application and was approved for the EV incentive program through PSCNG, and we are in the process of quantifying the value based on the scope of work by the installer. We are looking to install 2 EV charging stations at Mill Creek Park. We had some leftover grant monies, and we did include some monies in this capital, and along with this grant, we will be able to install those 2 EV charging stations at Mill Creek Park, hopefully over by the Futura House. Public Works is also looking to replace the rotted doors at our pools and purchase new canopies at the Country Club pool, as well as repair the broken fencing along Veterans Parkway and other critical locations in Willingboro. And there are some resolutions on the agenda for those activities. In our inspections department, the inspections department handled 1,826 total inspections in April. They issued 881 violations, closed out 773 cases. A total of 60 summonses were issued. Significant construction and zoning activity generated $75,256 in revenue. Notably, the department processed 217 construction permits. That's a pretty significant amount. 166 zoning permits, and conducted 150 resale and rental inspections. So the team also managed vacant property registrations and foreclosure tracking, and continue to bring great service to the residents through code enforcement and property maintenance enforcement. Our Community Affairs and Senior Services, this department delivered a wide variety of programs aimed at promoting health, wellness, and food security. Over 400 pounds of food was distributed during the weeks by way of the mobile pantry. And Rutgers University provided smart eating education sessions for seniors in our community. Senior services also included exercise and crafting classes, hospice care presentations, legal services referrals, and on-site ID assistance from the Burlington County Sheriff's Office. They are also hosting a Real ID event in the senior center. If anyone is in need of a Real ID, which is going to be required if you plan on doing any type of traveling on an airplane, you can get in touch with the senior center to schedule an appointment. Our Human Resources Department, they oversaw the onboarding of 3 new employees in April, 1 Clean Communities ambassador, and 2 full-time public works laborers. The department continues to manage personnel records, and I will announce this evening that one of our firemen, Mr. Michael Centrone, will be retiring at the end of the month, or taking an early deferred retirement, and he will be moving to Alabama to continue his fire career down there. So we wish him well in his life's transitions. Our Recreation Department, although most of their information is charted summaries that are included on the full report, they continue to report consistent activity across program enrollment and facility rentals. They will be implementing a new Seniors Gold Zumba class and a regular Zumba class, and reinstituting the chess club. So any interested residents should visit the Recreation Department or the website for more information. Our Vital Statistics Office issued 164 birth certificates, 38 marriage certificates, 5 death certificates during April. 6 marriages were officiated by the township, and these services play a crucial role in maintaining accurate public records and supporting the residents' needs. And those are all of the items that I'm going to report to you this evening. But I will ask Mr. Lowry to come and present the goings-on in Willingboro while Ms. Jackson is attending a communication conference in Pittsburgh. Mr. Lowry?
Good evening again.
Good evening, Mr. Lowry.
On behalf of Ms. Jackson, won't be able to project as she does, but I will give it a great shot. Families with children ages 9 to 14 are invited to a Family Nights program series beginning next Tuesday at the Kennedy Center. This is a 7-week series held at the Kennedy Center every Tuesday during the month of May and June. It's a free series that includes goal setting, family meetings, and discussions around important topics such as peer pressure, substance abuse, and coping skills. Registration is required, and families who register will receive $150 for participating. We will kick off our Friday Night Live series with the gospel artist New Beginnings on Friday, May 23rd. And our makeup date will be May 30th with Deani Starr. The concert will be held at the amphitheater beginning 7 p.m. Residents are encouraged to arrive early and reserve a good spot to enjoy the evening. As a reminder, guests must bring their own chairs and are welcome to bring their own food and beverages. However, there will be food trucks or options at each event. A food vendor will be on site. Join us as we kick off our 6-week music series leading up to the Jazz Festival. Country Club Pool is scheduled to open on Saturday, May 24th, Memorial Day weekend. Country Club Pool will be open on weekends from 11 to 5 until daily operations begin in June. On Monday, May 26th, we will host our annual Memorial Day observance at 11 a.m. at Mill Creek Park. The inaugural Mayor's Golf Classic will be held on Thursday, May 29th. We're happy to report that this event is sold out, but we do want to encourage our young people to apply to the scholarship opportunities that are now available on the website. The deadline is Friday, May 30th. All students residing in Willingboro are encouraged to apply. Information is located on the website. Looking ahead, all are invited to our Juneteenth celebration on Saturday, June 21st from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. also at Mill Creek Park. I would also like to include that we are expanding our Willingboro Connect capabilities. We are incorporating the ability to apply for applications digitally as opposed through PDF forms. Folks will be able to apply for various applications that are located in the clerk's office, land use applications, dog licenses, a multitude of other licenses in the clerk's office, also applications within the rental resale office and inspections department, our special events form, our block parties application, and of course, we'll be adding other applications that are relevant and applicable to the app as well. They will also be able to do that on the website. It'll have a back-end workflow that works where staff can track it that way, so our residents won't have to go from department to department to drop off applications. We're trying to make things more seamless and efficient here in the township. As always, this information can be found on our website, social media platforms, our YouTube channels, or by subscribing to the Willingboro Weekly. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lowry.
Any questions?
Any questions from? No, but I do want to say thank you to all of the township employees for the tremendous work that you continue to do. Without you, Willingboro would not run, and I'm so excited to see all of those forms be digitized. I know that's something that the council has been asking for years, and this administration got it done. So we are excited about that. Thank you all for your continued hard work. And we encourage you to keep sharing your ideas and thoughts on improvement with the council so that we can make Willingboro a better place to be. Oh, Mr. Harris, we can go on to our resolution system.
So the business being presented to you for this evening is ordinance number 2025-6, which is for public hearing and final adoption. This ordinance is to establish compensation benefits and other policies for non-union employees, unclassified employees, and elected officials of the Township of Willingboro. So persons do not get confused. This was the prior ordinance that we had been discussing and working on. We are requesting that this particular ordinance be rejected, and we would like to simultaneously or introduce the new modified ordinance with the new language as ordinance number 2025 -9, which is also on your agenda for this evening. Also for public hearing and final adoption is ordinance number 2025-8. This is the bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements in and by the Township of Willingboro. We are appropriating $3 million for these activities and authorizing the issuance of $2,850,000 in bonds or notes to finance the parts of the costs related thereto. The directors did come previously and make the presentations, and if anyone has any subsequent questions, they are here again this evening to answer your questions. Resolution is being presented for your consideration is resolution number 120, which is the approval of vouchers for payment and ratification. Resolution 130 is a resolution authorizing the township to establish a not-to-exceed contract for OTC. Mr. Chapman, remind me what OTC is again. Thank you very much. They're going to be supplying for us recycling carts and a recycling dumpster for the Department of Public Works. And yes, that will include large size recycling containers and the smaller ones as well. Resolution number 131 is a resolution authorizing the execution of an amended shared service agreement between the Township of Willingboro and the County of Burlington for the installation of automated license plate readers, equipment on existing traffic signals located at various intersections in the township. We did receive a grant for those automatic license plate readers, and this resolution just amends a previous shared service agreement with the county regarding the installation and the maintenance of that particular equipment, their responsibilities and our responsibilities. So that is what that resolution pertains to. Resolution number 132 is a resolution authorizing Willingboro Township to establish a not-to-exceed contract with Frank Lurch Demolition Company, LLC, for the demolition of the pole barn in the Department of Public Works. Resolution number 133 is a resolution authorizing the township to award a not-to-exceed contract for Consolidated Steel and Aluminum Fence Company in a contract, a New Jersey State provided purchasing cooperative contract for fence installation, and I believe that is around 44,500. So you may notice various fencing in the municipality is kind of damaged and needs repairing. That's what this resolution is going to provide for. Resolution number 133 is establishing I just went through that. Resolution number 134 is authorizing a change order number 1 for a contract with Diamond Construction for the construction of the outdoor fitness court studio concrete slab. The slab is poured, but next to the slab, there is a little gully that goes between the pad and the parking area, and we need to provide a concrete access for handicap access. So that's what this particular $3,500 is for. Resolution number 135 is the approval to submit a grant application and execute a grant contract with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for East Lane and East Gate Lane road improvements. Those are the ones that Mr. Chipola did mention in his report. Similarly, resolution number 2025-136 is for the same for Marigold Lane and Rose Street and Tallwood Lane road improvement programs. And just for your understanding, we are only allowed to submit applications with a maximum of 350,000. However, we are able to submit 2 applications during the funding cycle. So we submitted the one for a little under 300,000 for East Lane and East Gate Lane, and similarly for Rose, Marigold, and Tallwood Lane. And then resolution number 137 is a resolution authorizing the Township of Willingboro to award a community development manager contract in the amount of $45,000. And those are all of the items that are being presented to you this evening for your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Now we will go into our first public comment. This public comment is for agenda items only. If you would like to speak, please come up to the podium or raise your hand online, state your name and address, and we will take your comment and respond to all comments after public comment has closed. Good evening, Mr. Brown.
Good evening. George Brown, 103 Evergreen Drive. Good evening, Mayor Whitfield and distinguished council members. My name is George Brown, President of ASPE Local 327. On behalf of ASPE Local 327 membership, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to the Township Council and the Township Administration for your partnership and responsiveness over these past weeks with respect to the amendment of Ordinance 2025-6. Your willingness to point out the importance of a sit-down meeting, hearing our concerns and valuing our feedback demonstrates true leadership and respect for the men and women that serve this township every day. By properly designating CBA eligible titles and ensuring the current employees in those positions remain protected within ASPE Local 327, you have shown that fairness and collaboration are more than words. They are values that we live together. This spirit of cooperation paves the way for a strong, productive negotiation period where we can build on mutual trust and achieve even greater success for our workforce in our community. Thank you for listening to ASPE Local 327 and for proving that when we work hand in hand, we elevate the standard of service, morale, and confidence across Willingboro. Your commitment inspires us, and I know we will continue to accomplish great things together. I appreciate your time and the opportunity. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Any other public comment? Good evening, Ms. Holly.
Hello, my name is Sarah Holly. I'm at 9 Tioga Lane. I have a question for Mr. Harris. Mr. Harris, you referenced something about salaries or an increase in salaries for council members, and then you indicated that it was not passed, it didn't pass, that there was a new a new ordinance that was, I guess, new ordinance that passed. I need further explanation on that, please, because my concern, if that's true, about the increase in salaries for council, my understanding is that in 2016, the council voted to give themselves the same raise as the employees, which is normally about 2-3%. Currently, council members are paid about $20,000 per $20,000 per year. That's more than any municipality in the county, including the county commissioners who only are paid $10,000. So for them to get the same increase as the employees, that's a problem for us taxpayers, especially since they only have 2 meetings per month. And if they have committee meetings, maybe 2 or 3 a month, that's still too much money for them to have per year. We have residents who probably working for the township, crossing guards, and those type of positions who are not even making $20,000. And the crossing guards work every day, 5 days a week, and maybe 2-3 hours a day. So how you council people gonna make more money than them? That's a problem for the taxpayer. And this is my first time talking about it. I'll be back to talk about it again. And this started in 2016. Prior to 2016, that did not happen. That was not happening.
Holly, your time is up. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
good. I know my time is always up because y'all don't want to hear what I have to say.
We have another public comment at the end, and you'll have 4 minutes. Any other public comment?
Am I being recognized? I'm sorry.
Jada Jackson?
Yes. Jada Jackson, 83 Tidewater Lane, Willingboro, New Jersey. I'm happy to hear that the vote to move into negotiations with our current employees is now going to happen, but I'm still confused. So if we're doing that now and we haven't approved a plan, how are we justifying having open solicitation for new positions? So will those positions that have been posted that are based off of a restructuring that hasn't been presented or approved come down until that process is completed?
Okay, thank you for your comment. We'll respond to all comments at the end of public comment.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none, public comment is now closed. We'll address the comments that were made during this public comment. Thank you, Mr. Brown, for your statement. It is very important to us to work collaboratively with the union, and I think we did just that. I am so thrilled to have a certificate of thanks from the union, from the ASME Local 3827, and I am going to frame it and put it in my office. So thank you so much. We also had a question about the salary ordinance from Ms. Sarah Howley. Ms. Sarah Howley, this salary ordinance did not include any increases to the council salary. Mr. Harris, would you elaborate on that a little bit?
So this salary ordinance generally gives a 3% increase, the cost of living adjustment to all of the employees that are included therein, and it is also for the elected officials as well, because the increase is attributed to all of the persons that are in the salary ordinance, which is in line with the same increases that most of our employees have been receiving under their collective bargaining agreements. So those are fixed?
Yes.
Okay, so those are fixed to your current salary.
Let's just
Okay.
repeat that correction.
My bad.
Let the record reflect, Mr. Harris said, my bad, and that was, he misspoke on that. The salary ordinance, or this salary ordinance, does not reflect any increases to council salary. We worked very hard to stabilize the tax base, and we did not want to cause any of that increase or have that be caused due to council salary increases. It was originally proposed as an increase to council, the same as the other employees in the salary ordinance, but that was one of the very first amendments that we made to keep council salaries flat. And I'll just ask Mr. Harris to confirm that.
That is a confirmation, and I do apologize for misspeaking. And we were actually talking about this morning, and I have been working in municipal government operations for over 20 years. And I will tell you, this governing body has probably been the most engaged, active council that I have ever seen participate in daily activities that are going on in the community. You are at meetings several days during the week. I know the mayor, you were here from 8 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock today, taking care of your duties. So, I'm just saying from an administrative standpoint, this governing body is actively engaged in working for this community.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. We also did have a question from Ms. Jada Jackson about open solicitation for new positions, and can you speak a little to that?
So the positions that Ms. Jackson is referring to, I believe, have been removed from the new salary or from the new proposed salary ordinance. Those positions will be handled individually in the restructuring ordinances. So when we go ahead and move forward with the restructuring, we will include any pertinent positions related to that in those ordinances.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Harris. I hope those answered the questions from the public. And at this time, I will ask for council to indicate if there are any resolutions that you would like to pull from a consent agenda. Yeah. None? Councilwoman Perone? No? All right. Madam Clerk, we can go on to ordinance 2025-6.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just for clarification, both ordinances are in your packets. I don't want you to get confused. Page 7 is the old salary ordinance, and page 57 is the new salary ordinance, just so I wanted you to have both so you could. With that being said, ordinance 2025-6, I'd like to get a motion for ordinance 2025-6, titled Ordinance to Establish Compensation Benefits and Other Policies for Non-Union Employees, Unclassified Employees, and Elected Officials of the Township of Willingboro. This is the old ordinance, the original one that was introduced on April 1st. That has never been passed.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Anderson, seconded by Deputy Mayor Worthy. Any discussion?
For clarity, that ordinance did fail at the last meeting. So what do you ask?
The amendments failed, but
The
this
amendment.
ordinance is still on the table.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. That's what he explained all.
All right, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Perone,
No,
Councilman Anderson,
No.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy,
No.
Mayor Whitfield.
No.
Thank you. And then moving on for ordinance, or I apologize. Nope, we have one more ordinance for public hearing and final adoption tonight. Ordinance 2025-8. I'd like to open the public hearing on ordinance number 8, titled Bond Ordinance Providing for Various Capital Improvements in and by the Township of Willingboro and the County of Burlington, New Jersey, appropriating $3 million therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $2,850,000 bonds or notes of the township to finance part of the costs thereof. If anyone would like to come forward and comment, the public hearing is open on this ordinance only.
Again, the public hearing is now open on the bond ordinance number 2025-8. Is there any public comment online? Sarah Holly?
Sarah Holly again. First of all, the young lady that's reading the ordinance, she needs to talk into the mic because we cannot hear her. Or as I used to tell my students, use her outside voice. We can't hear her. So I need for her to repeat the ordinance and the explanation of the ordinance. And that after she does that, I'm requesting that I'm allowed to come back on to talk about the ordinance. Thank you.
I'll read the title again, Ms. Holly. I apologize.
I still can't hear you. I still cannot hear you. You need to speak into the mic.
Mrs. Holly, we could be cordial on the meeting.
And I can't hear you either, Sam. I mean, Mayor Whitfield, I can't hear you either. I can barely hear you. And when you say be cordial, I'm not quite understanding what you mean by that. I normally have a loud voice anyway. So I'm not going to talk quietly like this lady who's reading the information because I want everybody to hear me. So she should do the same, perhaps.
Testing, can you hear me, Mrs. Holly?
I can hear you better, but a little louder would be nice also. And Miss, I'm not talking
Ms.
about
Holly,
you. I'm
we're
just
gonna have-
talking about the process. I can't hear you. There's
Ms.
something
Holly,
wrong
we're gonna
perhaps
have her
with the
read the
mic.
title one more time, and then we'll allow you to comment. Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is ordinance 2025-8 for public hearing, ordinance providing for the various capital improvements in and by the Township of Willingboro and the County of Burlington, New Jersey, appropriating $3 million therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $2,850 bonds or notes of the township to finance part of the cost thereof.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ms. Holly, this is your public hearing sign.
And thank you, Madam Mayor. And again, my concern is that the clerk, I suppose, should speak loud enough so that the residents can hear her and understand the explanation that's being given. And be quite honest, I have a concern about you, Madam Mayor, talking about me being civil. I'm a taxpayer. I paid your $20,000.
Do you have a public comment on this bond ordinance, Mrs. Holly?
No, because my concern was I didn't hear the explanation. Had I heard the explanation, I would not have spoken on it anyway. No, I do not have a concern, but she needs to speak up.
Okay, thank you so much. Is there any other public comment? On ordinance 2025-8.
Yes, can I be recognized? Sorry.
Yes, Mr. Jackson?
Hi, Jada Jackson, 83 Tidewater Lane. I don't know what just happened. I'm also, as you know, on the phone, but there was a shift in volume. Because I also raised my hand because I didn't know what was being discussed. But so thank you for repeating it. And whatever changes happened seem to have resolved the issue for both mics. But I do have a question. So the positions that have been posted, that clarifying questions. The positions that have been posted that are
Mrs.
that.
Jackson, this is for the bond ordinance.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment on bond ordinance 2025-8? Miss Maddie Mallory.
Yes, Maddie Mallory. I too have a concern about hearing, and this has been an issue. And like Ms. Holly stated, that when Mr. Harris responded, I couldn't hear him. And I can't hear the clerk, and I don't know if they're microphones or good microphones or what, but we can't hear what's being said. So, I think that's a disadvantage to us. And that's all I have to say about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Mallory. Is there any other public comment on salary or bond ordinance number 2025-8? Seeing none, public comment is now closed. Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Can I get a motion and a second to finally adopt ordinance 2025-8?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Worthy, seconded by Councilwoman Perone. Roll call?
Councilwoman Perone?
Yes.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy?
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, moving on to ordinances for introduction. This is the new salary ordinance that is just being introduced tonight. So with that being said, ordinance 2025-9, can I get a motion to introduce ordinance to establish compensation, benefits, and other policies for non-union employees, unclassified employees, and elected unofficials of the Township of Willingboro?
So moved. Second. Second.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Worthy, seconded by Councilwoman Perone. Roll call?
Councilwoman Perone?
Yes.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy?
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion for a consent agenda for resolutions 2025-129 through 2025-137.
Second.
It's been moved by Mayor Whitfield and seconded by Councilman Anderson. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Seeing none, roll call.
Councilwoman Perone?
Yes.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy?
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield?
Yes.
Thank you. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Worthy, seconded by Councilman Anderson.
Was that Councilman Anderson or Councilwoman Perone?
I think they said it at the same
Oh,
time.
sorry.
I second it.
That's fine. Councilwoman Perone, second. Roll call?
Councilwoman Perone?
Yes.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy?
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield?
Yes.
Thank you.
Approval of minutes?
Can I get a motion and a second to approve the minutes of May 6, 2025? That will be a executive session and a regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Worthy, seconded by Councilman Anderson.
Councilwoman Perone?
Yes.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy?
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield?
Yes.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, your updates.
All right.
Nice and loud.
Yep. All right, so my updates for you this evening, Mayor and Council, primary election day is right around the corner. Your bi-monthly reminder of important dates. The deadline to register to vote is actually today. I do have some last minute applications in the back if you'd like. As long as I date stamp them by today and send them to the county, they will be good to go. So if you still need to register, please don't leave without giving me the application. Deadline to apply for vote by mail-in ballot through the mail is June 3rd, but if you want to go to the county to vote, to apply for a vote by mail in ballot in person, you have until 3 p.m. on June 9th. Early voting is at the library from June 3rd to June 8th, And then primary election day is Tuesday, June 10th from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. at all your regular polling locations. Nothing is changing there. A flyer has been created for residents that's circulating with important voting information. There are copies in the back, as well as it will be on the Willingboro Weekly and on social media. Additionally, the county has released a video to circulate to the public to explain how to vote on the voting machines if residents plan on voting in person on election day. This is a super helpful tool to get people more comfortable and confident in voting on voting day, and there's a couple hard copies in the back of that flyer as well. Since our last council meeting, we have issued 15 new solicitor permits. The companies that are now allowed to legally solicit in town are Allied Experts, which has 2 people, Home Solutions, which has 1 person, Green Exterior Solutions, which has 1 person, Home Smart has 1 person, EcoShield is the big one. They all came in at the same time. They have now 11 people that have passed all of their background checks and everything and are allowed to legally solicit. And then Top Line Roofing has 3 people. I know this is a pretty big adjustment from the last meeting. I don't know what the will of the council is, but if you would like to look into putting in a cap on solicitation permits or look into that ordinance a little more, I'm willing to do that for you. I just want to know what your mindset is. I know it was a big influx kind of quickly. And then other than that, I just want to wish everyone a happy and healthy Memorial Day weekend.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Any questions from council for Madam Clerk? Seeing none, we do have some unfinished business to take care of this evening. I will turn it over to Councilman Anderson for updates on the golf outing.
All right, as Mr. Lowry mentioned earlier, this event is sold out. We have 29 sponsors who have donated at different levels for a total of $21,775, which includes between 15 and 17 of our local businesses. We've reached our goal of 72 golfers. We took in 5,250. As of today, the total amount collected, which also includes, I think, 3 checks that are outstanding, but they've already been committed. They're just finalizing their processes, is $27,025. The golf event, our vendor cost was roughly $15,000. Nunu Foundation, who is the agent handling the collections as our 501c partner, is getting roughly $27.0250. And then the POS system they use, which is called Stripe, they get, I think, 2.99% off every transaction, which is about $250. So the total expenses are approximately $18,000, which gives us approximately $9,000 in scholarship monies to give out. During the course of the tournament, there will be different games of chance, which will also allow us to generate additional revenues. Some of the winnings, the golf course has agreed to give two free games to the winner of the men's and the women's, which is a game of 18 holes each. The township has given umbrellas along with swag bags. We've had golf hats donated. Golf Galaxy is donating a carry-on bag, a walking bag, rain suits, and some additional golf items. Mr. Aaron Davis had a bunch of golf stuff in his garage, which we've collected to be able to give out as prizes. And Corona has given us bottle openers. So we're still collecting gifts. At the end of the day, we did extend the opportunity for the scholarships to the end of the month, at which time, after the tournament, we will go through the scholarships, see what the criteria are, and it's our goal to award those winners an opportunity to come to council meeting and be acknowledged and given those scholarships at that time. But the main thing, most of all, it's going to be 77 degrees, 18% chance of rain. All right, so it's a great event, success, sold out. And I have to give a big thank you to the golf committee, all the members on the golf committee. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. For Councilman Anderson. Sorry.
Got the same.
Thank you, Councilman Anderson. But thank you, Councilman Anderson. We'll move right along. Getting late.
What's better than Miss?
Had a full
it's
day.
always better than Councilwoman Anderson.
Yeah.
We stepped up. We stepped up.
We also have on unfinished business, the restructure ordinances. Those restructure ordinances, the revised versions, have been included in the back of your packet for your review. I encourage you to look over them thoroughly. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask now. We did have Mr. Lowry and Mr. Hall had some extensive conversations on amendments to these ordinances. And we have also talked with Labor Council and really made sure that this is the best decision for Willingboro. Does anyone have any questions or would like to add anything on this? Dr. Worthy?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to make a few comments. I wanted us to just consider how we got here with the restructure, just taking a step back. When we did the strategic plan and passed that as a body, when we revisited our mission and vision for Willingboro, we also established core values for Willingboro. This restructure dates back to then, so that is circa 2021. When those conversations began, and I just prepared a few remarks so I don't get too passionate. So I wanted to revisit an important and forward-looking step we are looking to take, one that aligns with our mission to provide a desirable and resilient neighborhood for residents, businesses, and visitors alike, which includes a strategic restructure for Willingboro Township designed to optimize services and enhance service delivery to our community. This initiative is grounded in the power of Willingboro, and that goes back to our strategic plan where the acronym POWER is there, which represents public safety and wellness, optimizing our financial strategies, a well-connected and educated community, economic development, and reliable future-ready infrastructure. Guided by our core values of going back to basics, we are embracing betterment through innovation, holding ourselves accountable, delivering high-quality service with integrity, collaborating across departments, and pursuing success, not just for today, but for generations to come. This restructure is not about change for the sake of change. It is about thoughtful planning that prepares and positions Willingboro for long-term growth. Together, let's continue to make Willingboro better, not just for today, but to posture us for success for future generations. And I also wanted to add that as we look at the ordinance that has been put forth for the restructure, what you may consider, I know I thought about it myself, is what happens to all the things that are occurring in some of the departments that aren't specific to a role. So for instance, over in senior services, they also do a lot of lobbying on behalf of Willingboro. They go out and pursue funds for Willingboro. They go to different places en masse. If you see the seniors show up, they show up like as groups. And there's work that happens that's not really a function of senior services per se, but it's work that is there that gets done even though it's not neatly nestled within that. And so I know I began to wonder what happens to the knowledge that's there, what happens to the work that's done that isn't neatly cast into a role. And I mentioned to council a few meetings ago, and I just wanted to revisit possibly creating a government affairs role or government consultant role as a part-time position that would capture those things. So we have an employee that already goes up to Trenton. They already go to county meetings. They already are petitioning on behalf of Willingboro. And so the work is already being done. But with the restructure, there's not a neat place to put government affairs as a position. So I just ask that council would consider a contract role so we could, just to think about that. I drafted up a copy I will give you the hard copies, and of course, I can email you the electronic copy if you'd like for further consideration. But as we are looking at the restructure, particularly for recreation and wellness, because that will embody the entire demographic of Willingboro, the young people, the middle aged, the seniors. There's not a neat place to put government affairs. So I just wanted to add that to the conversation for consideration. I'm sure council members are considering other things as well. So I just wanted to add mine to the discussion this evening. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Dr. Worthy. And I think when we make changes in this manner, I think sometimes it's positioned that we're just trying to shake things up. But if you have been following the journey of this council over the last 5 years, you know that we are thoughtful, we are strategic, and we really put a lot of thought into the decisions that we make here on the dais. This is not something that has come out of the blue. This is something that has been talked about since 2021. And we're excited for the growth and change that this restructure can promote in Willingboro Township. As I said, the resolutions or the ordinances are included in your packet for review, and we do have some time to take questions and get any questions answered before they make it to the agenda. Councilwoman Pearl.
Yes, thank you. With regards to this topic, I hope I'm audible. Everybody can hear me. With regards to this topic, the restructuring was not something that I was in favor of. So I want to make sure that that's clear, because I know there have been quite a few meetings where it's been discussed that we've talked about this. Isn't the first time. This is something that you wanted, Deputy Mayor Worthy. This is something that you thought the township needed, the restructuring. This is something that you wanted us to hear you, here's your idea, and so we're looking at it. I want to make sure that that's clear. So with what you provided to me, I do have some concerns, because it's things like how it says, and it's okay to have ideas. I'm not putting you down. If you wouldn't tell me your ideas, then I wouldn't know. So please don't understand this. Don't take it as criticism. With regards to the list that you have here from A to G, the first one stating the office of the township manager, and then there's a paragraph describing of what he should do. When it comes to our code and orders of operation, the township manager already has his duties, and it's stated in the New Jersey Law Handbook. So we don't create to decide what he should do. It's already written. Then you move down to other areas like Office of Information Technology. And then there's a paragraph of what, and I'm purposely not reading it for the sake of time. I guess, did everyone in the audience receive this? Or is this only ours? I'm asking a
This
question.
is a topic for unfinished business.
Okay, so everyone has not received it then. So, you know, it says here, the smaller one, Office of the Information Technology shall manage and maintain the township's technology infrastructure, including hardware, software, data management, cybersecurity. It will ensure that all departments have technology tools necessary for efficient operations and communications. That's what they already do. So this is not changing anything. This is what that department does. So I'm not sure when you say Office of Technology, Office of Human Resources, we have departments that are identified in these particular categories. Office of the Vital Statistics, that department already exists. So is it because you want to add the word office to these departments? Because these positions, these titles are not new, with the exception of, and I still have an issue with, the title that you want to include of the Recreational Wellness Center, so it can include the elderly and the youth. That I still find extraordinarily, it doesn't make sense to me. It's a recreation department, and that is clear across the whole world. Anyone that has a recreation department, it's recreation. That's exercise, dance, piano, music. It covers it all. It's not wellness. It's not a gym. Wellness, I think health and fitness. The recreation department has a gym. Everything is underneath that umbrella. I don't think that we need to change anything to add wellness to the recreation department. So as far as I see, and I did review this again, This is unnecessary. These changes don't make sense to me. And part of them are concerning because the law is already written as far as what the township manager should be doing. And by you creating these restructuring, you're doing his job, because that is the job of the township manager, to run and manage the town, bring suggestions for change. We review it, approve it, vote it up or vote it down. This process that you're doing as if you are the township manager. And that is a concern. And I'm not 100%, I'm not in favor of you restructuring the township. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Perone. And just to clarify, this is not an initiative of just one person and just operated in a vacuum of one person. There was close work with the township administration on some of the different structural needs and changes that were recommended, and those are included here. Additionally, in some of the code that we currently have, it is not explicit on the jobs of those departments. So I know in operation and in practice, some of those duties may seem like no-brainers, like they're supposed to be in there, that's what they're supposed to be doing. But in our township code, they are not present. It does not specify that. And that's one thing that we are aiming to codify in these ordinances, is to ensure that the work that is being done in those departments is also captured in the ordinances. Do we have any other comments? Councilman Anderson.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, so as far as the restructuring goes, I was in favor of the restructuring. I still am in favor of the restructuring. But as I reviewed it, the only issue that I have is with the Department of Wellness and Recreation. What I don't want to see happen within this process, which I didn't see in any of the other departments, is I don't want to see longtime residents and employees out of a position. You know, we have some dedicated employees who've been here, who, I mean, put the work in. And I just don't want it to be that they're not placed, they're misplaced, they're bumped out of positions. And, you know, we all know who, you know, we're referencing. And as far as this goes, you know, that's going to be my fight, tooth and nail, because I'm pro-employee, as everyone knows. So within these other departments, I haven't seen that as far as the possibility of somebody being bumped, the possibility of them having to reapply for positions and so forth. So when it came to this portion of the restructure, I like I said, I'm gonna fight like hell, okay? I'm gonna fight like hell for these employees. That's all.
Thank you, Councilman Anderson.
Rebuttal? Yes, Madam Mayor, may I rebuttal?
1 second. Do you have any other comments? Councilwoman Perone.
Okay, so I just wanted to point out again, as far as the paragraphs that are written here. So for example, the Office of Human Resources, it says shall manage employee relations. No, that's the township manager. Recruitment, yes, human resources. Personnel policies, somewhat. And training and development programs for the township employees, township manager. You see, so I'm not trying to shoot it down just to say I'm not in agreement. This is messy because the township manager's roles and responsibilities are written in the law. And by creating this whole office, you're taking the responsibilities of the township manager and placing it in other people's realm of responsibilities. So again, words really matter. And yeah, these words are conflicting with the way the law is written. And I wanted to close here before I forget. Madam Mayor, you mentioned it's not in the code book. So I would like to see the code book place in red what's not there, how you're improving what the code says. Because from my understanding of what I read in the code book, there's a lot of meat and potatoes in there. And, you know, if it's going to improve it, let's keep the code there. Put the code here, add in how this is deficient in this code as long as it's sticking with the legal laws of New Jersey. You know, I don't see the code. I see here, is this a code 3-13 Department Division and Offices? because that's not what's listed on the code, on the township's code. It's not listed like this. Office of the Public Information, this is all new that you created. So I don't see the code here is what I'm saying. So if you can add that to, I know we're just discussing this, but if you can put the code here and show how you're improving the code because it's lacking something or it's lacking responsibility or we're not able to get the job done in the township because it's not there. Things like that I'd like to see, and because that would be more reasonable to me. If you show the code as it exists, speak to your point of the way it is, it's not working. Here's how we can add to this to improve it. That's not what you've given us here. You've given us your ideas of you sitting with you said you sat with the township manager. Mr. Harris, have you sat with me to review these, the restructuring? Have you ever had any meetings with me? Have I ever been invited to, have I ever been in a meeting where I was there and somebody else in the council was there? No, I'm asking Mr. Harris.
So I believe the governing body
No,
had.
was I there when, not in the council meeting, have I ever been at any meeting to discuss the restructuring where it's you and I?
No.
Yes or no? No. It's not a hard question. I just want you to spit it out. Have I ever been at any meetings discussing this restructuring with me or any other council member?
With you
And just me and another council member and you?
no.
No, yes, okay. So again, this is your idea, and I have been excluded from this, okay? I am one of the council members, and the only time I hear about this is when you bring it to the table. Do you have a first? Do you have a second? All in favor? That's when I hear about it. So that's why, no.
Thank you,
Yeah, I'm
Councilwoman Farron.
concerned.
Thank you, Councilwoman Farron.
You're most welcomed.
And as this is continuing unfinished business, just to restate again, we have had since 2021 to have meetings to gain understanding, to compare the current ordinances to the proposed ordinances. We all have access to the current ordinances, as does the entire community. And meetings have been initiated, suggested, invites have been sent out over this 4-year period that have included you, Councilwoman Perone. I know I have been present in some of those meetings. I know Councilwoman McIntosh has been present in some of those meetings. I'm not sure if Councilman Anderson had any conversations
says
about
no.
the restructure ordinances, but that is still open. We still invite that discussion, and this is not something that is up for a vote tonight. This is something that is on unfinished business, and the time for us to discuss these potential changes. Deputy Mayor Worthy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. A few things. This isn't my just one big bright idea for Willingboro, although I do have ideas and suggestions. The document that you're referencing, that you're reading, I'm not the author of the document. It has been a collaborative effort working with the administration. We did have a redlined version that was available last summer. So I'll get with Mr. Lowry offline and see if we can find the old document where there were red line revisions where we went through and highlighted the things that we were proposing changes to, just as you just mentioned. So that has happened, but we'll go back and we can revisit that. In terms of the opportunities to have discussions with Mr. Harris, I take full advantage of his open door policy. I go and see Mr. Harris. It's not weekly anymore, but at least every 2 weeks we sit down for about an hour to go through whatever questions I have or find out what's going on in the municipality. All council members have access to Mr. Harris to have those same discussions, and if there are issues or concerns about anything or to get clarity about those things. Some of the things that you're saying aren't factual, but I respect your opinion and how you feel about it, but how we feel isn't fact. But in terms of the energy around, it sounds like all around Department of Recreation and Wellness, I value the contributions of employees. It has nothing to do with people not making contributions. I value the roles that people play in the municipality. I also I also appreciate being able to leverage the talent that we have in our township and making sure that we're able to provide a certain level of service to our residents while also maintaining the business of the municipality. From the restructure, no one's losing their job. No one, from my understanding, people were not losing money. And I'll go back to Mr. Harris to verify that. But it was my understanding that pay was not being displaced. If we're talking about preserving titles, if that's the conversation, then we should have that conversation. But to try to have, to try to throw the entire thing away because of us not being in agreement over a person and the title that they have in a role, I think that's a different conversation. The restructure is just that. It's dealing with the structure itself. It's not throwing the people away. It's not taking money from anybody. That restructure absolutely doesn't do any of those things. So I respect my colleagues' their opinions, but there was nothing done to diminish employees. I asked Mr. Harris multiple times about funds. I asked him about different ways that that pay may be impacted, and he reassured me unless something has changed, that money was not being changed. Employees and their pay was not going to be wasn't going to be impacted by this. That's all I have. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. We'll move our discussion along to the Burlington County Times redevelopment. That's something that we've been working on for quite a bit of time, trying to redevelop some land in town and really spur our economic development. The Burlington County Times area is one that has been included in our redevelopment plan, and we have received a proposal from a developer for some housing improvements. The proposal as it stands will include some 100% affordable apartments, as well as newly constructed townhomes, as well as some of those townhomes will be affordable, designated as affordable as well. We will be meeting in executive session on this topic to discuss some of the next steps that we will need to take in order to move forward with this. And then lastly, on the agenda, I have summer cookout. Is that something you wanted to discuss, Mr. Harris? Okay. Did you have?
I put it on the agenda because it was brought up as new business last time, and I didn't know if anyone had any follow-up on that from council.
Yes,
No.
I actually mentioned it, I believe, at the last meeting. And the thought came about when we did the renaming of the Lizzie Mae Morris.
I'm not the only one.
Lizzie Mae Morris Field. We thought it may be an opportunity for us to use the field, possibly to do an event with the employees, like a summer cookout, a softball game, maybe departments against departments, but just to, do something different. We have the field, we did all the work around it, and, just to put it in use. So it was a thought that was thrown out. And I just wanted to bring it back to the table to see if it would be something of interest to the body.
Okay. Does anyone else have any discussion on that? Councilwoman Pearl?
Thank you. I'm in favor of that idea, and I would like to possibly maybe put together a small committee to orchestrate the details, or if you want to do it through the township manager, but possibly moving forward with actual production of planning it for this summer sometime. That's what I would be in favor of doing.
Deputy Mayor Worthy.
I support doing the summer barbecue. I think it'd be a nice initiative to do with employees.
Okay. Anyone have any suggestions on budget for this event?
I think T-shirts should be appropriate for the different, teams. If you're going to do like a friendly game of competition, so maybe T-shirts, food should be budgeted. I don't have a number. I'm just saying like items to think of, and possibly look up some numbers. But those are the items I would think would cost: beverages, food, and maybe team T-shirts.
Okay.
Maybe we can have administration just look at it based upon all the other events we do in the township, just to give us some rough estimate of what we may be looking at.
Okay. With that being said, it seems like this is a favorable idea. I'd like to make a motion to appoint Councilman Anderson and Councilwoman Perone to a subcommittee to explore the possibility of a summer cookout for the employees.
Second. You're welcome.
Motion by Mayor Whitfield, seconded by Deputy Mayor Worthy. Roll call?
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Councilman Anderson and Councilwoman Perone, for your continued dedication to the employees of the township. We look forward to a great event this summer.
Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Worthy.
Yes, I just wanted to add to the unfinished business. A few meetings ago, we talked about the summer program and the academic enrichment component that would be added to the summer camp that's held at the JFK Center. Ms. Marty Hill Parker will be providing an update with names for teachers who will be able to do the teaching portion in the mornings. So she'll be sending out an email Friday. She let me know today. So I just wanted to let the council know that we're still on track for the summer planning and for the summer enrichment portion to be added in the mornings. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Great. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Worthy. All right, moving on to new business. Under new business, we do have we have 2 points, but one of the points is for our July and August council meetings. Traditionally, we've only had one meeting per month in the months of July and August. It was advertised for 2 meetings. So I wanted to get the approval of council to continue the practice of 1 meeting per month for the month of July and August.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Anderson, seconded by Councilwoman Perone.
Just to clarify, this would be canceling the second meeting of the month, so that would be July 15th and August 19th. Okay.
Roll call?
The second.
Those would be the meetings we're canceling.
Are you okay with that?
With the affordable housing.
Then the beginning of the month meeting? Okay.
So those meeting dates would be July 1st and August 5th.
Those would be the ones that we would cancel instead. Is everyone okay with the second meeting being our official meeting?
Oh, I'm fine with it. I got sick days.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so will you rescind your motion and second?
I rescind my motion.
Resending the second.
Okay. I would need a meeting to cancel the first meeting of the month for the month of July and August. Those dates are,
July 1st and August 5th.
and only have the second meeting of the month
July 15th and August 19th.
for the months of July and August.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Councilman Anderson, seconded by Mayor Whitfield. Roll call?
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
Thank you.
And then also on new business, we have the corner store ordinance. Mr. Harris, do you have anything on that one?
That ordinance is being modified to make some additional inclusions, which will be ready for your consideration on June the 3rd or 6th, whatever that meeting date is.
Okay. And this ordinance is one that has come about. We've gotten a number of applications for additional corner stores within the municipality. There has been a petition that was submitted to the zoning board calling for pause on the allowance of corner stores within the municipality. The inspections department has taken that community voice and help to structure an ordinance that will be more favorable for the development of our town, not allowing corner stores within a certain distance of each other, and also hoping to add some LED light regulations to that ordinance. So this is something that will be forthcoming. I just wanted to put it on you all's radar. All right. Any other new business? Dr. Worthy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I learned today from Youth in Government participants that there is a field day at Willingboro High School on June 19th, and they're requesting that the council join them on Juneteenth at their field day at the high. And they're also interested in learning if the council would sponsor perhaps water ice or bounce house or DJ or something to contribute towards their festivities. So I just wanted to bring that forward to the council. I just learned about it today from the students. And I know the school district is working on the planning, or I guess the administration is working on the planning. But that was a request from the students, and I just wanted to bring it forward.
Okay. Do we have any initial ideas on thoughts on that, if we would like to sponsor anything?
I'm okay with sponsoring, maybe pizzas or something, or what do they need? What would be?
They were
You said
open.
high school students?
The high, it's
High
for
school.
high
Okay, so like not a bouncy house then, because they're adult, they're, that's what they wanted?
Get what they can get.
Okay, yeah.
What?
Yeah, I would think, I don't know, some pizza, hot dogs, something like that. I know they have a, is the field gonna be open? Is everything gonna be up and running? I did have an opportunity to, I attended their job fair that they had, which is very well, attended and organized a few weeks ago. My question is, the football field and the concession stand, they were basically in process of completing. It looked like it was almost complete to me. Will they be using that? Because I remember they had a kitchen, an outdoor kitchen that they were going to be using, and they said the students were going to be operating it. And if that's the case, then I would think maybe giving them something that they could, like hot dogs, to put on the grill if it's prepared. So maybe we can find out some more about what will they have accessible to them? Like, will they have a grill? So we just buy meat for them to put on the burgers, things like that. I want it to be, that's what I was thinking.
So I think
And if we're all in favor, I would suggest maybe we set a not to exceed, and then we can work with the school to determine what the donation will be.
And then what time was that event?
I'll get the time. I
Okay.
don't have the time.
All right, I'll just put it on my calendar for now. And I'm okay, yeah, I would like to attend.
Okay. I'd set a not to exceed of $400.
I don't think that's gonna be enough. Oops, I don't think that would be enough. Well, I said pizza. Pizza is gonna be more than that.
We can use the opioid money.
Oh, okay.
Now, I would suggest not to exceed $1,500.
Right, that's more.
All right.
We'll talk about it afterwards.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to set a not to exceed of $1,500 for the Willingboro High School Field Day donation from council.
Second.
Moved by Mayor Whitfield, seconded by Councilman Anderson. Roll call.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. If there's no other new business, we will move on to public comment. This is our general public comment. This public comment will be for 4 minutes each. Please state your name and address when you come up to the podium, or raise your hand online. Public comment is now open.
Good evening. My name is Debbie Price, 10 Inwell Lane, Willingboro, New Jersey. On behalf of the Board of Education, I've been here too long tonight. On behalf of the Underground Railroad Museum of Burlington County, I stand before you with the understanding of the importance of education. I thank the communities in Burlington County for enabling us to have a platform that will enable us to continue to tell his story, her story, and their story, those of the silenced, as well as those that are unknown and unarchivable. The purpose of me standing here today is to extend an invitation to both you as council members, as well as to our community, to attend our Juneteenth event that's going to be held on Saturday, June 14th, 2025, from 11 o'clock until 6 p.m. We are collectively taking 2 properties in possession and pulling this off. The first one is the Rancocas State Park. In the state park, we will be hosting tours at 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and 3 o'clock. The tours will enable the participants to experience what a freedom seeker went through. Because of my most recent interview with Opal Lee, which is the reason, she is the reason for us having the Juneteenth as a celebration. We're honoring her with our 3.5-mile walk in the park. The other part of the celebration is going to be held in Timbuktu. We will be having iconic family members in attendance. Frederick Douglass's nephew is going to be there. The Steele Foundation is going to be there. The Lenape Nation, we have chefs from around the world that's going to be providing taste of freedom. We have productions that are going on, as well as storytellers, reenactors, and the like. But one of the most important things that's going to happen is that we're going to end our event with a gospel concert. All of these events are free. We chose not to charge because we've already paid the price. We only ask that you come out and enjoy. In addition to the Juneteenth event, I'd like to extend an open-hearted invitation for everyone to come out and visit the museum. The museum is located in East Hampton, New Jersey, open on Saturdays and Sundays from noon till 4 o'clock, unless there's a specific request for a tour. That ends my comments for today. Does anyone have any questions?
Ms. Price, when was the time for the Timbuktu event?
11 in the morning till 6 in the evening.
Okay.
I do have the program for you.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Is there any other public comment?
And I just want, that's okay. I just wanted to say the entertainment, they're coming from around the world to make this thing happen. We have performers that are coming in from Japan. They will be here to entertain everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Price. Any other public comment? Any public comment online?
Hello,
Angelina,
can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, Hi, okay. Good evening, council members. Good evening, everyone. My name is Angelina Martinez, 57 Edge Lane, and I'm actually a trustee at the Willingboro Public Library. And I'm here tonight to urge this council to reinstate the $52,000 that was cut from the Willingboro Public Library's operating budget this year, and to consider restoring the library to the level of funding it truly needs to serve our community. Over the past 17 years, the library's township appropriation has dropped from 1.5 million to a little over 1.1 million, a difference of $400,000. And the result? Our library is now operating with fewer hours, fewer programs, and a drastically reduced staff. What once supported 17 full-time and 19 part-time employees now barely allows for 12 full-time and 7 part-time staff members. Despite these cuts, the demand for the library has not gone away. In fact, it has grown. The Willingboro Public Library remains one of the most vital institutions in our community, offering access to books, technology, tutoring, job search assistance, senior programming, art exhibits, and a safe gathering space for residents of all ages. It is not a luxury, it is a lifeline. And now we are facing even greater threats. As some of you may know, President Trump recently signed an executive order that threatens to cut federal funding to institutions like the IMLS, which is the Institute of Museum and Library Services, a key source of funding for public libraries across the country, including ours. This federal support filters down to the New Jersey State Library, which already struggles to fully fund programs like the per capita state aid. Just this year, the Willingboro Public Library received $17,208 in per capita state aid, but that is actually less than half of what it should have received if the state were able to fully fund it at its full level, which should have been nearly $40,000. And that's not because we failed to meet any requirements, it's because the money just simply isn't there. And now, thanks to the president's executive order, we're staring down a future where even that may be in jeopardy. At a time when libraries across the nation are under attack, whether they're facing defunding, censorship, or even closures, we have to ask ourselves, will Willingboro be part of the problem or part of the solution? Cutting the library's budget now, in this very moment, sends the wrong message. It tells our youth, our elders, and our working families that their access to free knowledge, technology, and cultural enrichment is not a priority, that their need for a safe, welcoming, and educational public space can be trimmed down to balance a budget. I strongly urge this council to reinstate the $52,000 that was cut this year, which represents more than just numbers. It represents lost hours, lost staff, and lost services. And to consider increasing funding in future budgets to ensure that the library can restore and expand programs that have been lost over the years. Let's not forget that the Willingboro Public Library is not just a building. It is a cornerstone of our community and a reflection of our values. In times of uncertainty and political instability, we must double down on institutions that serve everyone, not pull back. Willingboro deserves a library that is fully funded, fully staffed, and fully empowered to meet the needs of its people. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Maddie Mallory.
Good evening, Maddie Mallory again. Madam Mayor, I'm going to direct this comment to you. At the last council meeting, there were 3 non-residents that spoke, and they did not give their addresses. So if this is going to be a requirement, then I would suggest that we closely monitor the fact that we have people speaking that do not identify, where they're from and their addresses. The other thing is, if I remember correctly, and I didn't write it down, but I think when Mr. Lowry first gave his report on the restructuring, some of his comments and the way that the report was presented was that it was the idea of one person in particular. And there were some comments about the fact that the council was made up of 5 people and 1 person did not have the authority. So this is nothing new about not all council being involved in the process of the changes or the reorganization. The other thing is that I'd like to know how many applications have been submitted for the scholarship that is being presented as a result of the golf tournament. And I think that, oh, and when Mr. Harris is speaking, I don't know what's wrong with his microphone either, but his last comment was barely heard by, and maybe it's just me, but I have my speaker as far as it will go. And for the second time, I did not hear what he was saying about the ordinance and the changes and those kinds of things. So I think that's my comments for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mallory. There's an iPhone user.
Yes, Edward Leslie, 1 Peacock Lane, Willingboro.
Good evening.
Good evening. 2 things. One, we've been having some lights out in on Primrose. 2 lights been out for months. And we was asking about when those lights gonna be fixed. I see a couple times P&G went up there thinking it's fixed, and then when the evening came, they were still not working. And the second thing is, what are we doing about cats in the neighborhood? I know there was a mention a couple meetings ago, but these cats are starting to basically mess around people's houses, and sometimes you can't even walk outside with the smell. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you, Ms. Meslin. Sarah Holly.
Good evening, council again. First of all, as you all know, Willingboro is a paid place, so everybody knows everything in this town. So why exactly are we restructuring the township? And why are you using an axe to cut directly at the recreation department? Is this a way to replace experienced employees? And given this restructuring nonsense, which I agree with, so yes, Samantha, I am not going to be civil. And I'm not going to be civil because this restructuring, as I understand from Tiffany, will create new jobs. So therefore, to pay for those new jobs, our taxes will probably go up. And that's a problem. In addition to that, and like I said, everybody knows what's going on in here. I understand the job description are written in such a way where experienced employees are going to be demoted or they're going to lose their job. Also, Mr. Harris earlier spoke about the responsibility of the township manager. Now, according to statute, council members should not be engaging in the day-to-day operation of the township. Why are there council members there daily? Why are you there daily? Why are we paying Mr. Harris as our township manager to run the town? And right along with that, the report that was given by Deputy Mayor Worthy should have been given by the township manager. The township council members don't give reports like that. That's your job, Mr. Harris, to give those kind of reports. And again, I believe that the deputy mayor has been overstepping her role if she's going to give a report like that. And my other question is, how come Councilwoman Perrone didn't have any say-so in this restructuring nonsense that you guys are trying to pull? And yes, that's why I'm on here, not being civil tonight, because I have a concern about my taxes and how those funds are being used. And especially since, and my comment is, Madam Mayor, when you call me not being civil on the council meeting, is that because I outed the council members' salaries, which is about approximately $20,000, more than double the amount of money that the county commissioners are making, and your salary is higher than any other municipality in Burlington County. And that's my time for being uncivil tonight.
Thank you, Mrs. Holly. Serena Williams?
Yes, good evening, Mayor Whitfield, Deputy Mayor Worthy, Dr. Worthy, Councilman Anderson, Councilwoman Perrone, Township Manager Harris, Township Clerk Savino, and residents of Willingboro. My name is Tarina Williams, former resident of 8 Botany Circle. Now I am in Virginia. Pleasure to be here this evening. First and foremost, I want to say thank you, Mayor Whitfield and Council, for the first proclamation for Lupus Awareness Month, helping to inform the residents of Willingboro and anyone who views the council meeting on YouTube or logs on Zoom about lupus awareness. Chronic disease has millions of people, local, nationwide, and worldwide. And tonight's council proclamation for community mental health is just as important. May is also Older Americans Month and so many other months, too many to mention. But the reason why I acknowledge Older Americans Month is, one of the reasons at least, is Miss Dolores Hodder, a dear friend of ours and a former resident of Wilmington. By that I mean she was a beloved friend who unfortunately passed away at the age of 94. She will be dearly missed, but never forgotten. God bless her God bless and comfort her family. I want to thank Willingboro Village and Willingboro Weekly for not only advertising different events, but also with Willingboro Village, I noticed that they post different obituaries. Do they work with the township to do that? Or is that something that would have to go through another channel with to acknowledge Miss Hodder? I also wanted to say happy Memorial Day to our dedicated soldiers, men and women, for their sacrifice. And as we take that day off, I pray that everyone has a safe, fun, and nice, happy Memorial Day holiday. I believe that's it. Thank you so much for your time. Maybe oh, last but not least, I'm so sorry. How did I make this oversight? You advertised our Lupus and the Heart webinar, health session rather, last week, Tuesday, and Councilman Anderson took the time to attend. Greatly appreciate your attendance, Councilman Anderson, fraternity brother of Dr. Whitfield. It's such a small world. And as always, thank you so much, Council, for your dedicated service to our township. May God richly bless all of you, your family, and the residents of Willingboro.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
You're welcome, Mayor Whitfield.
Beulah Williams?
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Good evening. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. Beulah Williams, formerly of 8 Botany Circle, now resides in Virginia, who still loves her community, lived here for over 40 years, and you're still my beloved community, beloved council. I appreciate all of your hard work. And as I said last time, you can be swayed when communities get worried about their jobs and they speak to you. You have hearts of compassion and you're not rigid. You listen to their presentation and you can change. So thank you very much for your hard work. I, for one, know of your hard work, the mayor, the council. For years, I have been monitoring you and your work, and I appreciate you. I appreciate Councilman Anderson. I appreciate Councilwoman Perone, our beloved mayor. Everybody, the names are slipping me, so I don't value you any less. I value more, but forgive me for not saying your names. You mentioned Juneteenth Day, and when we were in Willingboro, we participated in just about everyone, and I remember the participation of Mayor Worthy, Mrs. Bell, Councilman Anderson, and I remember Councilwoman Perone, she was there walking around. I think she had a broken heel or something, but she had a cast on and she still did the trail. It's the commitment of our council that I so appreciate. I don't know about salary, but I know that you work very hard and you care about your community. So thank you for all your hard work, your dedicated work, and may your work continue until the Lord says it's enough. But right now, I know you're doing a fine job. Thank you very much. Councilman Anderson was at the workshop presented by his very able frat buddy, Dr. Wingfield, I think his name is. And thank you, Tarina. And it was a presentation for the community. Unfortunately, I think Tarina put Adventist in capital letters, and maybe some people weren't able to attend, but we apologize, but we still had a very good attendance. And I think there will be another workshop for 8 consecutive Tuesdays at the Kennedy Center on diabetes. So anybody interested, and they also are preparing dinner for the participants and they're not selling it either. So it's just a community awareness presentation. So those of you who feel inclined, please attend. You will be certainly educated, more educated about how to take care of ourselves, because our bodies, as the Lord says, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And the more we can do to maintain health is the better for us. God bless you, everyone. Election is coming up.
Ms. Williams, that's your time tonight.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you. God bless.
Very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
You're welcome, Mayor.
Is there any other public comment? Seeing none, public comment is now closed. We've had a number of comments this evening, and just to respond, Ms. Price, thank you for the invitation to the Juneteenth celebration at the Underground Railroad Museum. That'll take place on June 14th from 11 to 6 p.m. excuse me? Rancoga State Park and Timbuktu from 11 to 6 p.m. We will have this, I think this, sorry, I lost my train of thought. This flyer is available online, and you can go to the Underground Railroad Museum of Burlington County to get more information. We also did have a comment from Angelita Martinez about the $52,000 in library cuts. There was a reduction to the library budget. The township has been or will be taking over the cleaning contract for the library, and that did cause a reduction to the library budget. Does anyone else have any comments on that?
Just one. She also asked if we could help with bringing the library up to par. They have presented themselves on quite a few different meetings with regards to the need for an uplift and in their technology and their limited resources at this time. So I am in favor of assisting them in getting their library to date. As we know, their computers that they have, they are super outdated. And with all of what we've, monies that we've raised, monies that we've spent on, we spend a lot of money on things like, the all white parties and things like that. And those things are nice. However, to have a library here and knowing that our library is falling down and not putting any of the resources towards lifting it up, I feel that we're doing a disservice to our community. So I know we spoke about it before, but I would like for us to take serious action and actually put some of our resources towards helping them get the library up to par by giving Mr. Harris the direction, or whoever it needs to take the order of look up how much the computers cost, send somebody over there and start really looking at dollars to start, just to at least start.
Thank you,
Is that-
Councilwoman Perron.
Is that something you think you can support, Madam Mayor?
So actually, it's already been done.
Okay, so what do we have?
Yes, they got their new computers. That was included in the budget, and that did happen. So they have been, when they have asked for other support for projects, we did take that into consideration, and they were able to complete those projects. So the library does have new.
Oh, that's all. I didn't know about. So when did they get the computers?
Earlier this year, last year, end of last year.
Because they were here this year, so it couldn't have been last year. They presented that they needed.
Harvey is the chairwoman of the
Okay,
library.
so if you can, you're the liaison, right?
I'm happy to let you know. We had a meeting last Wednesday.
All right, so perhaps you can give a report at the next meeting on how they're doing as far as their resources, their requests, because I didn't know about it. Thank you.
I believe the capital ordinance included $285,000.
I can't hear you, Mr. Harris. Can you speak into the microphone?
And I believe the capital ordinance you just approved included $285,000 for new carpeting.
I did know about the carpeting. I did see that. So I was speaking more about the technology, which was a concern. But that's awesome. So I'm happy to hear that we did put some resources to their technology. And if Deputy Mayor, if you can bring that to our next council meeting, a report from the library.
I'll send an email to the council.
Or even just to the public, so we can know where we are with the library. Is that okay?
I'll ask the library trustee, the chairwoman, to come and present to the whole council and to the community. That's a great idea.
All right, thank you.
All right, next we had Maddie Mallory. I really have been trying to do a better job at making sure we get the name and address of all of the presenters that come at the meeting. It seems that once again, I've fallen short, Ms. Mallory, so I'll make sure that I am being diligent in that effort. We are all human. Mr. Councilman Anderson, how many scholarship applications have we gotten so far?
Between 4 and 5 that I saw.
All right, so we've had between 4 and 5 scholarship applications to this point, and with the Youth and Government event today, I anticipate that we'll at least have a few more from the seniors that were present. And then she had a note about the restructure ordinances. It is still a topic of discussion. All council members have equal opportunity to meet with the administration, to ask questions, to review the ordinance, the present and proposed ordinances, make comparisons, and also provide input, suggestions, and thoughts on challenges throughout this process. So I encourage the council to continue to do that as we move forward. We also had a comment from Edward Meslin, 2 lights out on Primrose. I know we had an effort with PSE&G to restore some lights. Is there any update on that from the manager's office?
We will, we have been in communication with PSC&G, updating them on the lights that have been out. We will follow up with them to see what the story is, because I believe those were reported to them already.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Harris. Also, he had a concern about cats in the township. We have been in contact with the Burlington County Friends of the Shelter organization. I'm talking about the TNVR, Trap, Neuter, Vaccinate, and Release ordinance. We are working to create an ordinance that it works for our community. While suggested and sample ordinances may work for other townships, I at least am thoughtful in the ordinances that we pass in this township, and want to make sure that it will not disparage any or cause any additional problems due to cat colonies developing and being allowed through the ordinance. Ms. Holly, you had some comments about the restructure. As we said before, this is something that has been in discussion since 2021. Your concern about the raise in taxes, we have done reviews, and the raise in taxes is not due to any new positions, but the rising cost of healthcare and other factors that are included in our general operations. This, just for the record, I did say cordial and not civil. So I wanted to clear that up. And then also, why are council members here daily? I know I take my position as mayor very seriously, and when I get complaints, concerns, thoughts from community members that I see around town, that I meet, that I run into at the grocery store or the gas station, at different events I'm at, I want to make sure that those concerns and issues that I see as a member of this community are highlighted to the administration to be taken care of in a swift manner. I have meetings with the clerk as well as the manager weekly to discuss those issues, to make sure that issues are moving forward and nothing falls off of our radar, to propose some suggestions that as they're going through the administration's daily operations, they may not see or hear some of the complaints that I'm hearing in my elected position. So I make sure that I bring those and highlight those concerns, as well as direct or ask Mr. Harris to explore certain issues for presentation. While we have a team, over 300 employees that do work in this township, the council is called to direct the legislation and not just be bystanders in this process. So as I said, I do take this role very seriously and will continue to be involved as we better Willingboro for all residents. Also, I want to say thank you to Tarina and Beulah Williams for their acknowledgements of the resolutions that we've passed tonight and at the last meeting, as well as acknowledging Older Americans Month. Also, the township does not work with Willingboro Village in a partnership. You would have to contact that source to get any obituaries released or promoted on their venues. And I think that was all the public comments. Did I miss anything from council? All right, seeing none, we will move right along to council comment. Councilman Anderson.
As usual, just like to thank everybody for coming out, everybody who joined online. Like to congratulate Officer Jackson, Officer Young, and Officer Haynes. Wanted to thank Mr. George X. Brown for his for coming back instead of working against us, working with us, acknowledging that we worked with him. So I do appreciate that on his end, and a happy Memorial Day to all.
Thank you, Councilman Anderson. Councilwoman Prime.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Prime.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I just want to, again, speak to the restructuring. At every single meeting that it was spoken about at this diocese, I spoke against it. And specifically for the reasons that I mentioned today, okay? We already have descriptions of these departments. Mr. Harris already has his description as his function, and that is for anybody who sits in Mr. Harris's seat. It is not the job function of the council members to sit with Mr. Harris on a daily basis or on every other basis or any basis, period. The mayor is designed to have meetings with the mayor, with the township manager, to set the agenda, and the clerk. There are no individual planning meetings, private meetings whatsoever, unless the council votes to have a private special meeting for a specific topic. We vote at this meeting, and is it at that time that someone such as the deputy mayor can go and have a meeting with Mr. Harris based off of a topic that we already discussed to move forward with, okay? In some cases, committees are established, as we just talked about with the baseball structuring. Nathaniel Anderson and I, Councilman Anderson and I, have been appointed to discuss this particular topic. There may be meetings that I have with Mr. Harris as well as Mr. Councilman Anderson. That is appropriate for a council member. Deputy Mayor has overstepped her responsibilities as a deputy mayor over and over again, and it causes confusion at the council meetings. No, I was not invited to these meetings. No, I'm not sitting in Mr. Harris's office Monday through Friday. No, I come and I collect my mail, I say hello, I go to my daily job, okay? At the council meetings, ask questions, review emails, and so forth, okay? There is at no time I want to be very clear, any council member should be meeting with Mr. Harris on any kind of regular basis. No one other than the mayor. Mayor, if you're out, deputy mayor steps in, natural. So all of this restructuring, it is deputy mayor's idea. And of course, you ran a ticket with her, mayor. You're going to support whatever she says. You've not disagreed on any topic that the mayor, that deputy mayor has ever spoken about since she's been on council. You've never said, you know what, I heard you, deputy mayor, but I disagree. Not one topic. So anything she comes up with, you're like, I agree, Dr. Mayor, I agree. There's nothing you disagree with. You don't have a solid opinion on any topic. Dr. Deputy Mayor, yes, yes, praise the Lord, yes. Never, one topic, I've never seen it, okay? So again, it is frustrating because I am a sitting councilwoman. And if you want to have a private meeting about changing the departments of the township, yes, I should be invited to, like, you know what, Rebecca, Councilor Perron, can you sit with Mr. Harris, have a meeting with him about, because we're trying to do this, sit down at the table with the attorney, because it's not even just your idea, Madam Mayor. Even though you're the mayor, you still can't sit with Mr. Harris and make any decisions. It's done here at this table. So I'm hoping that it stops, okay? And stop saying that I was invited, because Mr. Harris has already confirmed, out of all the discussions regarding this restructuring, I've never been at one meeting, but I've been to the council meetings. So don't say I've received emails and everything. No, I said already, it's ridiculous. He has his functions, and let's stop trying to do the man's job. Thank you. And
Thank you,
happy Memorial
Councilwoman
Day.
Perron. Deputy
I
Mayor,
was
thank you,
happy Memorial
Councilwoman
Day.
Perron.
Oh, excuse me.
Thank you, Councilwoman Perron.
Happy
Deputy
Memorial,
Mayor Weather.
happy Memorial
Deputy
Day
Mayor Worthy.
to all of the veterans. Thank you. I appreciate your service.
Deputy Mayor Worthy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There's been a lot said today. I'll just say that even if we keep saying it over and over again with lots of feelings and emotion, it doesn't make it true. There's a lot of work that went on with the restructuring that was open to the body. We also had conversations in executive session about the restructuring. It's not like a secret project. I will continue to meet with Mr. Harris because I'm not breaking any laws or ordinances, statutes, or anything by meeting with the township administrator or with the clerk to find out what's going on. No different than me sending an email to ask a question or to gain clarity or to send correspondence on behalf of a resident. So I will continue to meet with Mr. Harris to do the work that I was elected to do. I also wanted to remind everyone to take time over this long weekend to reflect on those who died in service to our nation. Memorial Day is a time of honoring and remembrance. It's not, although people have barbecues and cookouts, they go shopping, what have you, it is a time really of reflection for those who paid the ultimate price by giving their life in service for this nation. I do encourage people to come out and reflect with us at Memorial Day's observance at 11 a.m. Monday at Mill Creek Park. If there are questions that I can answer, I'm happy to answer questions. Lots have been said about me this evening. I'm not going through Ms. Holly's exhaustive list or the things that colleagues are saying that just aren't true. But if people want to have civil conversations about my role on this council as the deputy mayor, I'm happy to do that. If I have overstepped, I don't believe that I have, I will reflect on the feedback I've been given about this possible overstepping. And I will also ask the mayor that if I am overstepping, please feel free to call me out because it's my intent to support you in your service as mayor and to be at your service and not to be doing things that are disruptive. So please forgive me if I've overstepped, and I will reflect on that. Thank you for such generous comments and feedback this evening. Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Worthy. And finally, I just want to say, despite all of the spirited discussion that we've had at tonight's meeting, we are still committed to working together to serve the residents of Willingboro. It is my sincere hope that all council members will take advantage of the opportunities to meet with Mr. Harris and administration to get questions answered and clear understanding of the items that are presented, that he is presenting on the agendas at each meeting. This work is not just done in one day at one meeting during a 3-hour period. It does take more time than that. And I think the residents that have voted and will vote on June 10th that will elect, that have elected us deserve that time, attention, response to emails and concerns, and their thoughts on how the township is moving. As I say, there are council members that have meetings with Mr. Harris. I am not just the only one. Deputy Mayor Worthy is not just the only one. There are other council members that have meetings with Mr. Harris to get their questions answered ahead of time. And I encourage all council members to do that so that we can have a full understanding of the items that are being presented. It's very easy at sometimes to speak out against something that you're just looking at for the first time on the dais, but with careful consideration, I think that's why some of these ordinances and resolutions are presented ahead of time so that we can have those discussions, we can get our questions answered, we can provide the feedback and not just go with any one person's idea. I'd also like to just state that I am my own individual. I am a daughter of Willingboro. I was raised here since I was 4 years old. I'll continue to be in service to Willingboro, and I do not stand or step and fetch or follow anyone's lead. I am a leader in my own right as I am the mayor of the township. I'd also like to encourage folks to come out to our Memorial Day observance. It is, as Deputy Mayor Worthy said, an important remembrance for those who have paid the ultimate price for our freedom, and it deserves to be honored in that way. And thank you, Deputy Mayor, for calling me to task. And I will continue, as I have in the past, call you out on things and express concerns and continue to be my own person, as I will continue to call all council members out and express concerns, but be collaborative in the work that we do here in Willingboro Township. As we continue on with our meeting, I'd like the resolution for executive session, please.
Madam Mayor, would you like to consider doing a meeting extension, or do you not think this executive session will be? I just want to make sure that we do it before we go in.
Yes, we'll extend the meeting till 10:30, please. I'd like to make a motion to extend the meeting till 10:30.
Second.
It's been moved by Mayor Whitfield, seconded by Deputy Mayor Worthy. Roll call.
Councilwoman Perone,
No.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
Thank you.
The resolution for executive session, please.
All right, with that being said, resolution 2025-138 is a resolution authorizing a closed executive session in accordance with the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Act. This will be for personnel matters and potential litigation. Can I get a motion second?
So moved.
Second. Moved by Deputy Mayor Worthy, seconded by Mayor Whitfield. Roll
Councilwoman,
call.
Councilwoman Perone,
No.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy.
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
Thank you.
you have a card to give to the clerk?
Why didn't you order yourself a dinner?
Madam Clerk?
Can I get a motion and a second to come out of executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Anderson, seconded by Deputy Mayor Worthy. Roll call?
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy.
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield.
Yes. We did have some conversation in executive session about our judge appointment. Madam Clerk, if you would read that title and for that resolution.
All right, I apologize for the delay. So resolution 2025-139 will be a resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Willingboro providing for the appointment of a municipal court judge. Can I get a motion in a second?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Perone, seconded by Councilman Anderson. Discussion. Roll call?
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
All right. I'll now entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Worthy, seconded by Councilman Anderson. Roll call? Or all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you and good night, everyone.
We are now adjourned at 10:23.